Point Roberts is part of Washington state, but if you drive there from the rest of Washington, you have to leave the United States first. You cross into Canada. You drive through British Columbia. Then you cross back into the United States. Only then do you reach Point Roberts. It is American land at the bottom of a Canadian peninsula. 5 square miles of the United States cut off from the rest of the country by one straight line on a map. That line is the 49th parallel. For most of the U.S. Canada border, the 49th parallel looks simple. It runs west across the continent from the Great Lakes toward the Pacific. Across prairies, mountains, farms, forests, and rivers, it divides 2 countries with one clean latitude line. But when that line reaches the coast of British Columbia, it creates a problem. The line cuts across the Tsawasan Peninsula. Most of the peninsula stays in Canada. The small southern tip falls below the line. That southern tip becomes American. That is Point Roberts. On a map, it looks like someone sliced the bottom off a Canadian suburb and handed it to Washington. To the north is Delta, British Columbia. To the west and south is the Strait of Georgia. To the east is Boundary Bay. There is no bridge to mainland Washington. There is no road south into the rest of the United States. There is no hidden land connection. By land, Point Roberts has one neighbor, Canada. This is what geographers call a pene exclave. It is not fully surrounded by another country because it has water on 3 sides, but it is still separated from the main body of its own country. The only practical land route runs through foreign territory. That makes Point Roberts one of the strangest places in the United States. Not because it is remote. It is not remote in the usual sense. Downtown Vancouver is less than 25 miles away. The Canadian suburbs are right across the border. Grocery stores, highways, hospitals, airports, and millions of people are all nearby. But they are nearby in the wrong country. Point Roberts is close to everything and disconnected from its own country at the same time. That is the entire geography of the place. The mistake started in 1846. The United States and Britain were settling the Oregon boundary dispute. Both sides needed a border between American territory and British territory in the Pacific Northwest. The solution was simple on paper. Continue the border west along the 49th parallel until it reached the sea. That decision made sense across most of the continent. It did not make sense at Point Roberts. The line passed through the Tsawasan Peninsula and left its southern tip below the border. Nobody moved the peninsula, nobody built a wall around it, nobody created an island. The geography stayed the same, the legal reality changed. A small piece of land attached to Canada became part of the United States. At first, that did not matter very much. The region was thinly settled. The border was more of a diplomatic line than a daily obstacle. People fished, people farmed, people moved through the region with fewer controls than they face today. But modern borders are not just lines. They are passports, they are customs rules, they are school routes, they are delivery routes, they are emergency plans, they are medical decisions. They decide whether a 10-mile trip is a normal drive or an international crossing. Point Roberts became strange because the world around it became more formal. The town has about 1,200 residents. That number comes from the 2020 census. It is small enough that one school, one clinic, one grocery store, and one border crossing can shape daily life. But it is not empty. It has roads, houses, beaches, parks, mailboxes, businesses, and a local identity. It is not a curiosity on paper. It is a real community living inside a geographic loophole. The most basic trip explains the problem. If a resident of mainland Washington wants to drive to Point Roberts, the route begins in the United States. They enter Canada near Blaine. They drive north and west through British Columbia. Then they turn south toward the Point Roberts border crossing. They enter the United States again. The trip is short in distance. It is complicated in sovereignty. A domestic trip becomes an international loop. The same thing happens in reverse for Point Roberts residents. To reach the rest of Washington by road, they leave their own country. Then they re-enter it. A normal American commute becomes a border procedure.